Here's the first example of how to use algebra to solve a word problem. So our first step after reading the problem is to come up with a let statement. And then we come up with an equation, and then we solve the equation to solve the problem. So in this case, the sides of a triangle are 3 consecutive whole numbers of centimeters. The perimeter is 57. The question is, how long is each side? Okay, so before we can write our let statement, we have to understand what it means by consecutive whole numbers. So consecutive just means numbers in a row, like 8, 9, 10, or 20, 21, 22. You could have consecutive numbers like this. You could have consecutive odd numbers. That would be like 5, 7, 9. You could have consecutive even numbers like 14, 16, 18. So be careful with how it is written. Again, in this case, you probably could guess the answer pretty quickly. That's not the point, right? The point is come up with a let statement, come up with an equation, solve your problem. When we actually have these on an assessment, we're going to be giving you a mark for each of those pieces. So don't forget to include each piece. So let's start with our let statement. We know we have 3 numbers that we don't know. Okay, so you could choose any of those numbers to be X or whatever letter you want. It's a bit easier for X to be the smallest number. So let's start there. Let X be smallest number. Okay, now, X is the smallest, like 5. How do we get the next number? If they're consecutive, right? So if 5, the next one would have to be 6. Well, how do we get that? Oh, well, that just means X plus 1. So X plus 1 is going to be the middle number. Okay, now, well, how do we get the next one? If it's 5 and then 6 and then 7, that would just be, we'd have to add again. So that would really just be X plus 2. Now, before we move on, I just want you to think for a second. What if it said like odd number? Well, think about it. Odd numbers like 5, 7, 9, they're 2 apart. So you'd do X plus 2, X plus, or X, X plus 2, and X plus 4. Now, what about even numbers? They're also 2 apart. X, X plus 2, X plus 4. It doesn't matter whether it's odd or even, they're always 2 apart. These ones, consecutive numbers, are always 1 apart, so we keep adding 1. Now we need to make an equation. And it tells us that the perimeter is 57. Well, if you remember, perimeter of a triangle is side plus side plus side will be 57. So in this case, we're just going to replace our side plus side plus side with side 1, which was X, middle side, which was X plus 1, and the largest side, which was X plus 2. And that is our equation, X plus 1 plus X plus 2. Now you collect like terms. So we have 3x plus 3. You solve. So to solve, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. And we're going to divide by 3. Extend my page a bit. And in this case, we get, whoops, I wanted to be black. That's okay, good. In this case, we get 18. Now, we're not totally done yet, because that just tells us what X is. Well, what is X? Well, if you remember, X was the smallest side. I said number, I should have said side. So now we know, oh, the smallest side of the triangle is 18. Then the next one has to be 19, and the next one has to be 20. So now we have to do one final thing, which is our therefore statement. Therefore, the sides are 18 centimeters. Don't forget your units, 19 centimeters. And the writing is terrible here, and 20 centimeters. Okay, that's supposed to say the sides. Bad writing. Okay, that is how you solve a word problem using algebra.